Hello, good evening. So today we are in the fourth class of Tattvabodha, and let's start with the prayers as always. I'm sharing the screen for the prayer. Om, 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 Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. समस्तजन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्. So in the last class, we saw about Viveka and Vairagya, right? So Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya starts this text by saying that he's going to expound the means, guide us towards right thinking for the means to liberation from sorrow to a student who has the fourfold qualifications. That was his opening statement. And of the fourfold qualifications, we have seen two, which is Viveka. Viveka is the intellectual ability to distinguish or differentiate between what is permanent and what is impermanent. And Bhagavan also says that only that Brahman alone is permanent, everything else is impermanent. That is with respect to Viveka. For Vairagya, we saw it is the complete dispassion for the enjoyment for the fruits of one's actions in this world and also in the heavens. So in this life and also afterlife, both of the complete dispassion towards enjoyment of fruits of action is Vairagya. The next in the fourfold qualification is the Shad Sampatti, starting with Shama. All right, so that is what we are going to see today. This is a sixfold inner wealth of the fourfold. The third one is the sixfold inner wealth. Okay, so there is a category within the category. We will see what they are. All right. So going on to the verse. Yeah. So Shamadi Sadhana Sampatti Kaha. Shamo Damo Uparamastidiksha Shraddha Samadhanam Cha Iti. So here Bhagavan is listing out the six inner wealth. All right, they are Shama, Dhamma, Uparama or Uparati. Both are the same. Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana. So these are the sixfold wealth. So we will see about all these one by one. For everything, he has given an explanation and we will see the explanation one by one. All right. So first is Shama. Shama kaha. Mano nigraha. See, I told you, two mark answers directly to the point. What is Shama? Shama is mind control. Mano nigraha. All right, good. So before we start understanding a little bit more about Shama, we will see what is so special about this sixfold inner wealth that we all should develop as not only as a student of Vedanta, but as general individuals also, right? They are such a comprehensive and complete set of guidelines that if we cultivate it in our lives, we will be free from mental clutter. So many unwanted thoughts, worries, confusion, fear, all these will slowly fade away from our mind. And if it is not there in our mind, it is actually not there in our life, isn't it? So that is one of the biggest, outcomes of practicing these or cultivating these sixfold wealth. And not only that, once our mind becomes free of clutter, our intuition starts picking up, right? So we gather so much information, we listen to this, we read that, and sometimes unwanted information is also going on. We are consuming it even without our own awareness, isn't it? When we are scrolling the phone or when we are just walking around and seeing so many unwanted things. So there is always a barrage of information that is going on, hitting us. Somewhere we already have the knowledge, we already know what to do, what not to do. It is all there intuitively within us, and we are just not having the quietness to listen to the intuition, isn't it? And once we start developing that this sixfold qualifications or sixfold wealth, the intuition becomes louder and louder because all other noise starts fading away. And once when we have very clear intuition, then our actions and our thoughts become very decisive. We are not wavering, we are not wondering, oh, should we do this, should we do that? Those kind of confusion and all will slowly start fading away from our life. And not only that, the third thing is we return to equilibrium very fast. See, we all are humans, we all go through ups and downs in life. It is an inevitable part of life. But how quickly we are able to come back to our state of equilibrium, that is when that is when these qualification, these inner wealth help us, so that we don't get affected too much by what is happening around us. And even if we are affected, we come back to our state of equilibrium and proceed further with our life without ruminating too much about what has happened and how we are suffering and how it is such a difficult thing, how we are going through a bad phase. It's okay, we will accept and we will quickly move on. All right. And most important thing is we will have a very positive and a cheerful outlook towards life. So this is not just this false positive, right? Like good vibes only, I think only positive thoughts, not just from the outer or from a superficial level, but actually in a very subjective way, we start understanding the bigger picture, and all these small inconveniences don't really trouble us. We truly see them as only small inconvenience, and we start enjoying life and live life in a very dynamic, cheerful and positive way. So these are the main benefits, if I can say, of cultivating this sixfold wealth. And another thing is, let us not say like, oh, I don't have this, I am not good at this. Let's not go into this kind of a comparison. And also remember, let us not apply this checklist to others. Okay, all these are only for ourselves. This is like we are a continuous work in progress, right? No matter how much Shama we have, how much Dhamma we have, we always have scope for improvement. All right. So consider it as a kind of a self checklist, like where am I in this today? If it is not happening today, if I lost my mind, it's okay. Let's again get back and start applying all this in our lives. So that is how we have to approach these sixfold qualifications. All right. Of this, the first one is called Shama, which is Mano Nigraha, that is control of the mind. So control, restraint, all these are very scary words, right? We don't like to be controlled, isn't it? We don't want anybody controlling us. We don't want anybody restraining us. Obviously, physically, nobody should restrain anybody. And also in our actions, and also we prefer to have complete freedom, right? But if we were truly honest with ourselves, we all are slaves to our own mind. Yes or no? We will say, I am the master of my own self, but we are a slave of our own mind. So when we start applying Shama, that is when we start exercising a little bit control over the mind, then what happens is the mind starts roaming continuously in this world of objects and names and forms, and slowly it starts turning inwards, looking inwards and asking, oh, who am I? What am I doing here? All these questions it will slowly start asking. And once it starts asking these questions, then we should be able to be in a position to harness the power of the mind to find answers to all these questions, isn't it? The mind is the most powerful tool that we have. Of all the other tools we have, mind is the most powerful. It is very quick. It is very intense. It keeps agitating here and there. It jumps from one extreme to another in no time. Such a powerful tool that we have. It is also a very, very subtle tool that we can't easily control also. But if we have control over the mind, then we truly have control over our life. So as a yoga practitioner, this is where the beauty of yoga also comes in, right? In yoga, we understand that mind is the last thing that is going to listen to us, isn't it? The body always obeys us. If we want to sit, the body sits. It may be like, I'm having backache, I'm having knee ache, all this the body will say, but the body always obeys us. If we want to lie down, it lies down. If we want to walk, it walks. Isn't it? Body implicitly obeys whatever we want to do. Similarly, the breath also we will be able to control to some extent. Yes or no? If we want, most of the time we are not paying attention to the breath, but if we want, we can control our breath. We can breathe faster, we can breathe slower, we can breathe deeper. All these things we can do with the breath. But mind, if you say don't think about ABC, then immediately it will be thinking about that particular thing only. Mind will never listen to us. So when we do yoga practice, the beauty is we are using the body and we are using the breath, the tools that obey us, to control the tool that doesn't obey us, which is the mind. The body, mind, and breath always works in unison, isn't it? The three together only constitute our personality. And the state of one is always reflected in the state of another. Just by looking at a person, you are able to say whether that person is happy or sad or, angry. We are easily able to tell the state of mind of a person just by looking at the person, isn't it? Simply because the body language reflects the state of mind. Similarly, the breath also reflects our state of mind. When we are very angry, you know how we all breathe, right? Like, we breathe like that, isn't it? And when we are very calm and quiet, the breath also slows down, becomes subtle. When we are very focused on any task, the breath becomes very, very steady. Always the state of mind is reflected in the body and the breath. So in yoga, what we do, we put the body and the breath in a steady state so that slowly, mind also becomes steady. All right, this is one way of practicing Shama. All right. So there are many other ways practicing mindfulness, being aware of what is happening with the mind. All these help us in bringing about Shama. And it is not easy. It is very difficult because the mind is a very, very powerful tool. Arjuna itself cries to Krishna, right? The mind is very powerful. It is easily agitated. He says, well, Krishna agrees. Yes, true. What you're saying is true. But we have to practice Shama. All right. So this is about the first of the sixfold wealth, which is Shama. Next is Dhamma, or the control of the senses. So let us see about this, what Bhagwan has to say. Very simple. Okay. He says the next thing is Dhamma kaha chakshuradhi bahyendriya nigraha. Dhamma kaha chakshuradi bahyendriya nigraha is Dhamma. That is control of the external sense organs. Chakshuradi, eyes, nose, ears, tongue, skin. These are our 5 external sense organs, isn't it? Through which we gather information about the world. Control of the sense organs is called Dhamma. So here when we talk about control, we saw this in Vairagya also, about how we have to attach to a higher thing to let go of the lower thing, isn't it? Same thing applies for Shama and Dhamma also. The nature of the mind is to think about something constantly. It's just a bundle of thoughts. Similarly, the nature of the senses is to go outward. That is how these senses are made. So then how do we control it? It is actually going against their nature, isn't it? So how do we end up controlling the senses? It is by giving them good things to go behind, developing good habits. That's why, we all, right from our childhood, it is strongly being said over and over again, right? We have to cultivate good habits. We have to cultivate good habits. That is one of the best way to exercise control over the senses. Here, Dhamma also means, even when we have lost the control of the mind, we are still having control over our senses. For example, I go to a sweet shop. I'm not supposed to eat sweets. I go to a sweet shop. My mind is already gobbling up all the sweets over there. Okay, I just love it. And I'm mentally eating the rasgulla, badusha, jangri, jalebi, everything I'm gobbling one after the other. But I'm restraining my sense. I'm only doing it mentally. Physically, I'm not even touching the sweet. All right. This is Dhamma, even though the mind has not got control, has lost control, the senses still retain control. So that is what Dhamma is. Okay. What is next? The next of the sixfold wealth is Uparati or Uparama. Okay, we will see what it is. Uparama kaha? Svadharma anushtana meva. Uparama kaha? Svadharma anushtanam eva Uparama. All right. Okay, so Uparama means Ramati means enjoyment. Ramati is enjoyment. Uparama means withdrawal from enjoyment. What we all are enjoying? We are enjoying sensual pleasures, isn't it? The pleasures of the world are all actually sensory pleasures that we are enjoying. Withdrawal from this sensory pleasures, enjoyment of withdrawal of enjoyment from the world of pleasures. That is what Uparama is. Does this mean we become like one recluse sitting in a cave, not participating in any activity of the world? No, that's not what it is meant here. Here, that's why Bhagavan gives this beautiful definition saying that it is the doing of one's duty. Choiceless performance of duty, as Gurudev says, right? Choiceless performance of duty is Uparama or Uparati. All right. So what is Dharma? Before we understand what Svadharma is, let us see what Dharma is. Dharma, usually we associate Dharma means with righteousness, isn't it? Dharma actually means the very essence of that thing that makes it what it is. For example, fire. What makes fire a fire? The light and the heat, right? The burning. That's what makes fire fire. So the dharma of the fire is to burn. Correct? Similarly, what makes water water? It's cooling property, isn't it? That's what makes water water. So the dharma of water is to cool, to cleanse. All this is the dharma of water. Similarly, we as individuals have certain dharmas, isn't it? That's what makes us who we are, the very essence of who we are. In a very day-to-day parlance, if we were to say, in each stage of life, we have certain dharmas. That's what makes us what we are. Like we are a student in one stage, then we are always children to our parents. We are spouses, we are parents, we are colleagues. So we don't so many different roles, and in each of these roles, there are certain qualities that makes us the essence of who we are, isn't it? As a student, the essence of a student is to have discipline. Isn't it? First qualification of the student is to have discipline. Similarly, when we are children to our parents, the most important quality that we should have is obedience to our parents. So many others are there, but most important is obedience, respect. So in each stage, in each identity, there is something that defines us, clearly defines us what we are. And similarly, in each stage, our duty also differs. Our duty as a college student was completely different from our duty as a wife. And it is going to be completely different from our duty as a mother or a grandmother, isn't it? It keeps changing with age, with circumstances. In each stage, in each circumstance, whatever duties that we have to do that defines our identity is Svadharma. Sticking on to that is called Svadharma Anushtanam. Why we should do this is, in Shama and Dhamma, we are actually exerting control. Okay, we are consciously controlling the mind, we are controlling the senses. In Uparama, there is an automatic withdrawal of all the mind and senses from unwanted things, because we are focusing on what needs to be done at this stage, at this age. So when we are focusing on what we have to do, all that we shouldn't be doing, we're not even concerned about that. It is not even there in our mind. There is an automatic withdrawal that is already happening. So that is the difference between Shama, Dhamma and Uparama. All right. And another thing is, So we saw about choiceless performance of duties as per our age and stage, but there is also another thing which comes into play when we talk about svadharma. It is about what we are naturally inclined to do. We all have this, isn't it? Today's capitalistic world has made us think that whatever we do should be productive, should earn money, should be a means of making money. So that's why we get confused and we think if we are good at something, we should make money out of it. No, that's not true. Swadharma also means that beautiful, special, unique character, unique talent that we all have, and finding ways to express, to enjoy those talents that are given to us, that is already there within us. That is also Swadharma. That's why hobbies are so important, isn't it? We think dharma means very boringly, be a good person, be a good wife, be a good employee, be a good employer. No, it is not only that. It is also about the individual and what the individual is good at, and finding ways and means to express those qualities. That is also Swadharma. The problem is we think Swadharma is when you're doing the work that we like. No, it is not only about work. It is not about earning money. Because I had this confusion, right? I was like, my Swadharma is like, I love writing. I really enjoy writing, but I'm not making money out of writing. So how do I make money out of writing? I had this kind of a wrong thinking. And after that only I realized whatever I'm good at doesn't mean that I should always monetize it, isn't it? That's what this capitalism has driven into us, isn't it? The productivity, the how occupied you are, what is your purpose, all these in a very superficial way, isn't it? And we start confusing our hobbies to monetizing it. So that is not Swadharma. I mean, that is not the purpose of Swadharma. The purpose of Swadharma is to express our own inherent qualities, talents that makes us who we are, that gives us the joy of being who we are, isn't it? We all have that. We all have something or the other that we truly enjoy. It may be cooking, it may be gardening, it may be writing, drawing, embroidery. So many different things people like doing. And doing that also is following our Swadharma. Why we should do that? Only when we are channelizing our energies, when we are channelizing our vasanas, and we will see what vasanas are in the coming chapters. When we are channelizing it in this way, the mind and the senses automatically gets controlled. It doesn't keep on feeling that agitated feeling like, I'm not satisfied. Nothing is giving me joy. I am not contented with life. I want to do this, but I'm not able to do this. We all have this at some point of time, isn't it? When we are not giving that outlet, then automatically all these unnecessary, unwanted clutter starts building up in our mind. So Uparama is one, performing our duties, whatever they are externally, with relation to our age, position, commitments, so on and so forth, choicelessly performing those duties, whether we like it or not. Okay, yes, this is what is assigned to me at this point of time. I might as well shut up and do it. That is one. Second is finding time, finding expression for our own unique talents and for doing things that we truly enjoy. Both of these come under Swadharma, and both of these help in Uparama, which is automatic withdrawal of the mind and the senses. All right. So these are the three of the six-fold wealth that we saw today. First is Shama, which is mind control. Second is Dhamma, which is sense control, even when the mind is not in control. And the third one is Uparama, which is Svadharma Paripalanam, which is doing our duties, choiceless performance of duties. So the remaining three we will see in the next class. This week's reflection, homework. What is it that you're really good at? What is it that you enjoy doing? Really good at doesn't mean what you do should be perfect. That's not what I mean. Something that you truly forget yourself when you're doing it. And you, after doing that activity, you feel so much energy, enthusiasm, joy. What is that? You already know what that is? If so, what is that? You can share it in the group. If you don't know what it is, maybe now is the time to find out what is your own svadharma and how are you expressing it in your life? All right. So this is this week's reflection homework. All right. So that's what I wanted to share with you all today. And we'll finish the class with our closing prayers. I'll share the screen. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you all so much. I'll again see you on Friday, 5:30 p.m. India time. Bye. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.